Welcome to the playoff edition of the 2-Minute Drills. I am Fred Robledo, and to my left is Steve Ramirez. To my right, Aram Talegian, and we are talking about the Central Division playoffs. We're in the quarterfinals, just like last week. We're going to go down game by game. We've got 3 games to talk about that involve SGVN local teams. Aram, we'll start at the top. Probably a dream matchup 2 or 3 years ago. Still a really good matchup, one you always wanted to see between the Star News and Tribune. You've got Monrovia at top seed Charter Oak. Charter Oak beat Ayala 49-0 in the opener. Monrovia with a 27-17 over Grand Terrace. Your thoughts, Aram? You've seen both of these teams.
Yeah, I've seen both of these teams. I make Charter Oak a substantial favorite in this game. The only caveat being is that sometimes athletic teams that can match up to Charter Oak's athleticism give Charter Oak problems, and sometimes they don't. And then sometimes teams that are more athletic than Monrovia just ruin the Wildcats. Having seen this Monrovia team this year against San Marino struggle to stop that offense, you just kind of wonder what they're going to do against Charter Oak as far as stopping that offense, which in some ways may be better than San Marino simply because they have Zion Eccles at running back. Maybe their passing game isn't quite as good as San Marino, but their running game is probably, well, it's certainly better. Yeah. And then, obviously Charter Oak can play some defense. I'm not going to say they're a great defense, but I don't really see a great defense in any of these games, left in the final 8 here in this division. So, anyways, this is what the Central Division was made for, Stevie. Yeah. Games like this, Monrovia, Charter Oak, people have been wanting to see this. This is great for SGV fans. And then, obviously next week, if we get it, something like a Charter Oak Glendora semifinal the day after Thanksgiving when everyone's in town. Yeah. I mean, that's just insanity. So, I don't know. Like I said, Charter Oak to me looks like a substantial favorite here.
Yeah. Like you said, Monrovia was unable to stop San Marino, who's kind of, like you said, is more of a passing team, even though they can run the ball. But Charter Oak offers both, and they can do both effectively. So that makes them a tough team for Monrovia to stop. And Monrovia's got athletes, obviously, but I'm just not sure they could keep up in a game like this.
Right. Yeah, I've got the same thoughts. And you talked defensively, Aram. I mean, since that La Mirada game, I mean, they've really tightened their screws. If you look at the last week, look at last week, 49-0 over Ayala. I was there when they beat Glendora and held them to almost nothing offensively and checked Matt Fink. I think they're a good defense with an offense in this division that it's just gotten better each week or each time I've seen them. They've been able to score a lot of points. Even the West Covina game at the end of the year, a slow start in the beginning, but once they got it going, they really got it going with Eccles and company. I like Charter Oak, and the more I think about it, I like them really big in this game. I think back to the Monrovia San Marino game, and San Marino was able to score a lot of points. I just don't think Monrovia, I don't see them scoring more than 21, 24 points in this game. And I can see Charter Oak in the 40s or 50s. So
I don't even see them scoring 21 or 24.
No? Yeah. You're right. And that's being optimistic.
Yeah,
but you're right.
I could be wrong, but
I can see. I feel a blowout here, even though it's a sexy game on paper for the area.
Yeah, it really is a sexy game on paper. Okay, you want to move on now, Freddie? We'll go to Colony
next game,
and Glendora.
Glendora at Colony. This is a rematch from last year's quarterfinals. This is a game Matt Fink tried to play. He was hobbled. He couldn't really do much. Colony won that game, was able to go on and win a championship. Now you're looking at Colony now. Last week they struggled to a 23-19 victory. I mean, they're clearly not the team they were last year, but still good. And Glendora really handled South Pass 34-0.
Yeah, Glendora's really kind of wanted this game just to kind of prove, maybe what would have happened if Fink was healthy. Who knows if he plays Freddie? That Colony team last year was really stacked. This is a really nice matchup. It might be really the best matchup of the week here in this division. Picking a winner here, you got to like Fink as, the best player on the field angle. Given the motivation that Glendora has here, but this is a road game. This is a Colony team that still has plenty of players, QB, and the DB, Khalil Dorsey. There's still a lot of talent here and guys that have been in these big games. So I think this is your best game of the week in the division, and it's hard to pick a winner. I don't.
Are you on Cal Preps, Aram?
I'm not on Cal.
Okay,
I can be, but
I was just wondering what the computer prediction is.
For me personally, I don't see anyone winning this game by more than 6 points, but I'm going to go with Glendora.
Yeah, I've got Glendora in the game in a tight game, like you said. I just think a healthy Fink is going to make enough plays for them to win this game, and obviously that extra motivation of losing to this team last year, that always kind of just adds a little more that team needs to get them over the top.
Colony predicts, Match Prep predicts Colony 26-22.
Yeah, I was looking at this game, and it would have been easy to just move Glendora into the semifinals, because I think everyone around these parts would like to see that rematch with Charter Oak.
Could you imagine that? The day after Thanksgiving?
But Aram, I went ahead and went with the defending champion Colony in this game, even though Glendora has everything to gain by playing the rematch. There's just something about Colony and being that defending champion and the gritty way they play. I think they have the ability to frustrate Fink a lot like the way Charter Oak did earlier in the year. And I just have them, I'm just like you, I have them moving on in a really, really close game. It came down to me where this game was going to be played at. If it was at Citrus College, I probably went Glendora. With the game at Colony, I'm going to go with Colony in a super close one.
Yeah, just remember that Glendora, the most points they've given up all year, 28. That's pretty darn good. Glendora is going to need another good effort from its defense. But, we'll see. Moving on, San Marino.
Yeah, bottom half of the bracket. We got San Marino, 35-21 winner over Diamond Ranch against Don Lugo. Maybe a surprise to some, a 28-19 winner over Bonita. That game is going to be at Don Lugo. The winner will face either Chino or undefeated Summit. But, Aram, what are your thoughts? I mean, Don Lugo, kind of a surprise, I guess, how easily they handled Bonita.
The longest road trip of the year coming up for San Marino.
That's it. Huh?
Yeah, it is. Well, it is.
They don't go very far.
No, they went to Beverly Hills, but that may have felt like home to them anyway. Excuse me on my phone. Don Lugo will be a little bit of a trek for them, especially since, like I said last week, a lot of them were kind of asking, where is Don Lugo? Anyways, Don Lugo was a team last year that took Monrovia to the brink in the first round before losing that game. They're obviously, just perfectly fine in this division. Mount Baldy Elite team to finish behind Colony. This is going to be a tough game for San Marino because we saw last week that Diamond Ranch was clearly the best team that San Marino had played this year, and it kind of showed up on the scoreboard. If everything broke right for San Marino in that game, if they didn't have a fumble return for touchdown that Diamond Ranch took back for a touchdown, then maybe the Titans would have won by 21. And it's hard to sit here and say, boy, San Marino, man, that wasn't a great performance, and you still won by 14. But that was their closest game of the year, a 14-point win. San Marino needs Aiden Santino to take another step forward health-wise. He's the 1,000-yard receiver. That's the counterpart to JP Shofi. He was back last week. I don't want to say he was a little gimpy, but you could tell he wasn't quite 100%, but he's definitely in the 80 to 90 range. If he's back to 100% this week and he's able to stretch the defense as well as Shofi, then I really like San Marino in this game. I like them regardless because I do think they're going to get their points regardless.
Yeah, they're a really tough team to stop, and the question always with San Marino is can they stop the other team? And they seem to do a pretty good job this year, and with their, like you said, their toughest game of the year they did against Diamond Ranch, they did a good job, and I think this is going to be somewhat of a close game, but as you move forward, the games are just going to get tighter, and I think San Marino winning that game last week where they were pressured a little bit helps because it's the first time they've been, where they've had to make plays, and as the game gets down to the nitty-gritty.
As Aram said on the post-game show Friday night, sometimes those first-round games can be really scary, especially when you're a team like San Marino who had been undefeated. People said they really hadn't played anyone outside of Monrovia the whole year. Diamond Ranch always dangerous. Hadn't. Yeah, but in Diamond Ranch, a defensive team, a team who's been in it against some pretty decent teams this division, that was a good win for them, and I think that really is going to help them settle down and make a playoff run. And I like their shot at Don Lugo. Don Lugo, Bonita, I thought those were two teams, if San Marino got there, they were going to be able to to handle. And I love San Marino's road here, Aaron, because if things go true to form and they beat Don Lugo, Summit with a home game this week against Chino, presuming they win, that would be San Marino at home against Summit in the semifinals. Something I think they needed to have for their chance to get to a championship. And like you guys, I just think they're going to score. They scored 35 last week. I could see them scoring 42 to 49 this week in a victory.
Wow, can you really? You know, this another thing to consider here. This has kind of been San Marino's Achilles heel. Coach Mike Hobby's done a great job taking this program back from just being okay average, and before that it wasn't really even that good, and now building them into a team that is very prominent in the area. But the second round has been their Achilles heel. They've lost in the second round the last 3 years. And this is what, a lot of these guys, I talked to them, or I should say a lot, but I talked to Shofi and Carson Glazer, the quarterback, after last week's game, and they're well aware of, the second round jinx. And they're very bent on, this is like another one of their things, First was proving, hey, we didn't play anyone. We're going to show you how good we are against Monrovia. The next one seems like it's, we're going to show you we're different as far as the playoffs go. We're getting out of the second round. We're going to go, further in the second round. And this is it. I mean, they're the favorite in this game. It's not going to be easy, but it's not like they're playing Charter Oak last year. So San Marino, if you want one more thing to prove, okay, you get into those semifinals, and whatever happens after that, no one's doubting you. This is your last game to prove something. So go out there, get this win, get into the semifinals, and at 12-0, no one's going to be sweating you anymore. They'll have to respect you.
Yeah, I think that thing with the second
on every
round,
level.
Those past games, I don't think they were the favorite. I think they just played teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they are the favorite here.
Yeah, they just played teams who are better. Now, if they get behind in this game, then those kind of thoughts kind of get in your mind, and you wonder, maybe we can't win the second round game. But I think if they play their game, they're going to win this game.
Right. Okay. And then the final game is Chino, like Freddie said, visiting Summit. That's a game at A.B. Miller High School. In case any of you are going, we don't really know either team, but we're assuming that Summit will blast off points wise. That's looks like a real battle of conflicting styles because of Chino likes to grind. What a great job Jesse Sinisteros has done there. I mean, geez, man, he did great at Norwalk, and look at what he's doing at Chino. So there's your Central Division look. Guys, we really have some amazing games potentially next week in the semifinals, but we have to see how it all plays out on Friday night, so good luck to the locals.